On this day of independence, on this Independence Day, listen to an American troubadour from the USA.
Holiday Inn. Never has there been such a show as this. From Easter to Christmas, from the 4th of July to Thanksgiving, there's a song for every holiday and a holiday for every song.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
You'll be the grandest lady in the Easter parade.
USA's united thanks to one whose name was Nancy Hanks. Abraham.
You're easy to dance with. Be careful, it's my heart. It's not my watch you're holding, it's my heart.
Hello, welcome to Movie Humpers. My name is Bob Sham.
My name is Angela.
And up top, I want to try to remember to say throughout this month that we're going to be making some changes to the show for our third year. And one being that we have two RSS feeds out there. One comes from SoundCloud that has the old Documenteers episodes. We're going to take the Documenteers episodes down and consolidate the feed into one. And two, I kept going back and forth on it, but I think I'm going to rename the show. I don't think it's too big a deal to do it at this point. But every time I come up with an idea, I have to pick the dumbest fucking name. So that's why we've been called Movie Humpers, which I don't think is a terrible name. It's like a tongue-in-cheek name. Thank goodness I didn't think something like Movie Pervs or something, because that's probably what it would have been.
I would have maybe questioned that more than Humpers.
Film Fisters.
No.
But I think we got a new name, and it's not going to be pervy. So the goal is that we bait people in, and then they find out we're perverts.
Absolutely. New name, new font.
Yeah. No more the drip font, which is meant to be like either blood or paint.
Cum.
But it does kind of look like cum. It does kind of look like cum.
We literally, in the house, call it the cum font.
It is the cum font. Taco Bell uses it sometimes to sell nacho cheese. It is that time of the year. We call it...
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Camp Comfort and Joy all month long. Angela picked most of these, but I did pick these classics. So you can blame me for this one. All right, I did pick the classics. And this one we're getting around to, finally, Holiday Inn from 1942, directed by Mark Sandrich, written by Claude Binion, Elmer Rice, and Irving Berlin, starring Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, Marjorie Reynolds, Virginia Dale, cinematography by David Abel, music by Irving Berlin. It is a full-on Paramount Irving Berlin joint. It's the first movie to have the song White Christmas, and it predates the actual movie White Christmas.
10 years.
By about 10 years, yes.
And it's the same set is used.
We think so.
No, it is. I looked it up.
Oh, really?
Yes. So they used it for this movie. And then when they decided to make White Christmas, they pulled it out of storage.
So the Vermont hotel is also the Connecticut hotel in Holiday.
They're inns.
The
yeah.
inn.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
An inn is cozier. A hotel is like one room. Inns, you're like, there's breakfast.
And people talk to you a lot?
It's sweeter. There's snow. You know, it's Christmas. Bing Crosby's there.
There has to be snow.
That's what ends are. Bing Crosby's there.
We watched the black and white version, which I do prefer now that I've seen there's a color and a black and white. And I do prefer the black and white version.
Just made a terrible face about the color.
We hate color.
We hate color.
The best quality I could find for clipping the show was the color version. So with the clips I show will be in color, and it makes that one song routine pop particular. You know what I'm talking about. This is our first Fred Astaire movie, and he's evil. He's the villain here.
He's not so much evil as he is totally selfish.
He's a scumbag.
He is a scumbag. He's not evil in that. Well, no, he does have schemes.
No, he scams. He schemes. He's screwing over his friend. It seems like there's this element in old movies sometimes, especially when there's like a love triangle, where until you're walking down that fucking aisle and you say I do, free game. It's
until you've literally said I do and the ring is on your finger. Walking down the aisle, they could still dance into your aisle.
I think the Hays Code era often projects bullshit onto things but it doesn't seem to have a problem with Marjorie Reynolds' character or Virginia Dell's character essentially being hoes.
But they never. It's all about marriage.
There's an implication that they're not consummated.
They're not gonna fuck until they're married.
That's the implication, even though they don't say it. But we just project that. We don't know that.
Dancing.
They're Eskimo brothers.
Dancing is like sex on the floor.
It is when Fred is up there. It's sensual.
Didn't really feel that much for him in this movie. He was fine.
His
but
stuff
I wasn't
was the
blown
best.
Away.
His dancing shit was the best part of the movie.
His dancing is good. Listen, I'm a Bing Crosby girl.
So
Bing Crosby's voice is like a warm sweater in front of a fire.
So Bing's got the voice and Fred's got the legs, but you would pick Bing.
I would pick Bing.
Let me tell you.
100 times over.
Let me tell you, Bing Crosby, he can beat my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
Oh, hell
this is
yeah.
not real. The movie persona.
What are you? I need you to, for every movie discussion, you need to tell us if it's real or not. Every movie we got, you need to clarify if it's real.
I love the movie version of Bing Crosby.
Yes, we all do. I don't think anyone would actually like the non-movie version of Bing Crosby.
I just don't want to think about that part. Because then I have to not like him.
But he sings so good, I'd let him smack my kids around.
No.
Just to hear those dulcet tones soothe you?
Listen, the lost puppy dog of Bing Crosby in these movies. It's in this and White Christmas too. He wants to be in love so badly, and he's so sad because no one loves him back ever.
And Fred Astaire is taking his girls.
At the very beginning, Fred Astaire takes his girl. The thing is that Bing dances Bing sings and Fred dances. And the first musical number of this movie tells you the entire plot.
Yeah.
It's basically one guy can sing, but one guy can dance, and which one's going to steal her, and it's the dancer.
He's going to go off and be a farmer with this girl, but she runs off with Fred Astaire.
Because she wants to keep being a dancer.
Yeah, because to Bing, for some reason, if he's going to settle down, he has to leave show business completely.
It's crazy to me, though, because thinking about duos like this, you're together all the time. This is a trio that's together all the time. And one guy thinks he's in a monogamous relationship with this girl, and then she is sneaking around with the other one who is theoretically supposed to be his best friend.
Yeah, he's the villain.
Incredibly fucked up.
Yeah. Now, she runs off, but he still goes to the farm in Connecticut, where he learns that, what do you know, being a farmer is really tough. And he wants to work a lot less. So he's got an idea, and it's not a shabby idea.
No, it's a great idea.
He's going to open up an inn.
He's going to turn his farm into an inn.
That is only open on holidays or around holidays.
Every holiday they have a show.
Because the idea is like there's about 15 holidays a year, and he only has to work 15 a year.
Makes enough money that he can relax the rest of the time.
He should maybe consider days of preparation for the events as work.
I'm sure he does. Sewing all those curtains and making all those hearts and all those wigs.
But he's got a lot of help, including, yes, we have a Mamie alert.
Oh, Mamie!
Is your name's Mamie?
No.
Get back in the kitchen.
She is played by Louise Beavers. She has 2 children that live with her.
A little boy and a little girl.
They're like little rascals.
They could be in that cast for sure.
I wish we saw them more. They were dressed up like Father Time and
Baby New Year at one
Baby
point.
New Year. But in this, we never see a car. So the slavery exists in Connecticut still at this point.
No, she works there and lives there, but she's not a slave.
It's one thing, like, I understand the idea of having, like, a servant who cooks for you and tends your house. But on holidays, they don't have someplace to go. I think the thing about the holidays that is special, especially for the cooking ones, is that you're doing it yourself.
Yes.
You're putting the time in to, I really believe, even if we were really fucking rich, we might eat out all the time, have someone clean our house. But when it comes to, like, Thanksgiving or Christmas, we're going to cook the food.
The weirdest, most elitist feeling part of this movie was when Mamie made a full Thanksgiving dinner in front of a fireplace at a chair with at a small table with a big wingback chair, and then she and the children go in the kitchen for him to eat alone this turkey and mashed potatoes and shit. It was ridiculous. She mothers him, but also, invite them to eat with you.
If you're wondering if Mamie is also wise, and she is, and she gives him stern advice, but there's a point at the end of the movie to stop being a cuckold for your buddy and go and get that girl.
Yeah, stop pouting.
But there's a part where she, like, gets real stern and...
But you got to eat. The trouble ain't with that turkey, Mr. Jim. It's you.
I feel all right. I'm riding high, Danny.
Well, why you close the inn and sit around like a jellyfish with the misery? 'Cause a slicker stole your gal, and you ain't got fight enough to get her back.
Then backs off like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Jim, but...
As if to say, oh, I know my place. I'm sorry, sir. It was kind of a I know my place joke. I didn't mean to not know my place joke.
Yeah.
It gets worse. At least in
it gets so much
at least in the
worse.
respect of race relations. So one of their agents or whatever sends this girl, Marjorie Reynolds, Linda Mason, to meet. His name is Jim Hardy.
He sends her to this show as a favor because she agrees last minute to deliver flowers to Lila. Lila's the girl at the beginning who's dancing with Fred Astaire, and she has to have flowers or she's a diva. I could not connect with the character of Lila because she never dropped the diva the entire time.
Well, she's a shallow person. She runs off. She leaves.
Absolutely,
Fred
she
Astaire.
is. But there was never a moment for me to even understand why Bing Crosby loved her.
Well,
or why he ever thought she would want to live on a farm. He was delusional.
Because that's more of like a movie from 1942. It's just the love is forced and presumed more than really represented a lot of the time.
Well, the other girl that we meet, Linda Mason.
Well, we get a little bit more of a slow burn with that one, but I did really enjoy Virginia Dale and Fred Astaire's dance routine. I actually really liked it when Fred Astaire did all that. That was my favorite parts of the movie, was watching him move around. And Linda makes her way to where the inn is, and she agrees to work with Jim.
The agent does this weird thing where he tells her about the audition because she's trying to sell herself to him.
She's trying to break into the
movies. And he does it as like a
movies,
blow-off thing.
yeah.
Like, here, go to this audition and also go to this show. So she meets Bing Crosby at the show. And then the next day, she goes to the inn. They end up singing White Christmas together.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Where the treetops glisten.
There's a certain amount of holidays, of course. They do a Christmas one and then a New Year's to start it all off.
I think New Year's is the first one.
New Year's is the first
Yeah,
one.
because she comes on Christmas Day and they sing White Christmas.
And then at some point, Fred Astaire does show up at the joint.
And he's drunk.
It's
because Lila left him for a millionaire.
This is great.
Yes, this is great.
Fred Astaire being drunk and dancing, and he goes out on the floor and he just ends up dancing with the Linda Mason character.
And she doesn't even realize he's drunk until he falls over at the end because it's just really funny and everyone's laughing and he's so good.
Yeah, watching him pretend to be drunk and convert it into this whole routine, and everyone loves it, and it's really impressive.
This was my favorite dance sequence.
So they part, and he has to be carried up. Jim sees Ted, takes him up to the room, and Ted, as played by Fred Astaire, he knows he danced with a lady, but he can't quite remember anything. But now his duty is to find this lady.
Because the agent came in and said, "This is your new partner. She's perfect with you. We have to find her." He saw it from the back.
And Bing Crosby's in love with her, so he's trying to hide her as much as he can. And how does he...
Well, it's Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
I think now we just consolidate George Washington's birthday and Abraham into
But in
President's
this one,
Day.
we get both individual holidays.
And you remember the end of the Civil War. That's right, folks. This becomes like a plot device to disguise Marjorie Reynolds' character.
What's that?
Well, I thought it over, and I believe our number would go a little better in blackface.
Oh, I thought we were going to do it like this.
Well, that's before I thought it over.
I look terrible in this stuff.
No,
I don't even know how to put it on.
I'll put it on for you. I broke in as a bootblack, you know. Here we go.
Oh, for a month and a half, I've been dreaming how pretty I was going to look tonight.
Folks, we got blackface.
This is a blackface alert. This is a blackface alert. A blackface scene has appeared in a film. This is a blackface alert. This is a blackface alert.
They already had the band in blackface before he ever thought to put her in blackface. It was already a plan to have blackface that night.
So he's putting it on her, and she's like, I don't want to do this. I'll look terrible.
But he sort of asked her to marry him in that moment. He doesn't have a ring, but he says to her, "I want you to be here always." And she goes, "I guess I'm sort of engaged."
So he comes out and sings in blackface, and then she comes out looking more blackface than anyone in the room. Like, extremely, like, too much. The Irving Berlin music, I think White Christmas is a nice song.
Yes.
I wouldn't say anything else in this movie is really all that great. And this song, the fucking Abraham song.
Terrible.
Even Mamie had a troubling line in this.
She did a singing bit in this.
When black folks lived in slavery, who was it set the darky free? Abraham! That's right, child. Abraham! When troubles come down from the shelf, whose heart was bigger than himself? Abraham! Yummy! Abraham!
We're singing about the time when this man united the country and freed the slaves. Let's get all these white people in blackface to celebrate.
It's so bad. So bad.
We
have to automatically deduct points for that.
I guess we'll take a full point off the final score.
I agree with that.
For the law of blackface. And this is the first time, I'm surprised it's the first time we've encountered it.
Just because of everything we watched?
Yeah, but you go back in time, you get into the singing and the dancing, it's going to pop up in the old days for sure. Yes, so we get past that. Though Jim is so anxious to keep disguising her that he wants her to do blackface for like Valentine's Day as well.
Yeah, that's the next holiday, and of course they don't. But this moment is it's so beautiful. This is also a good dance sequence, but it's also so sad because for Valentine's Day, they've got all these hearts up, and Bing Crosby brings her over to the piano, and he says, "I wrote this song for you." And he's singing the words, "Be careful, you have my heart.
Yeah.
Don't break it. I've given you my heart.
While he's singing, Fred Astaire
She
shows
starts
up.
dancing backwards because she's grooving to this love song, and then Fred Astaire sees her and takes her in his arms.
They start dancing, and they even break the set. They
Jumped through they literally broke his heart.
Yeah.
They broke it
in dance form.
before the show even happened. Listen, Ted says at the beginning that he falls in love with every girl he dances with. Any partner he's ever had, he has fallen in love with. So Bing Crosby knows immediately, I'm going to lose her. But he doesn't give her the benefit of the doubt to make her own decisions, ever, in this movie.
You can't trust her either. She seems so, flighty about it.
No.
Because she's responding to his romances as well. She's connecting with Fred romantically as well.
No, she's not. She's dancing with Fred. She's not connecting with him romantically until later.
Did you not see her goo-goo eyes as he's wiggling them legs?
It's that, when we're dancing, they can't help it. They're dancing. That's what you do. You pretend like you're in love when you're dancing. But she tells him she doesn't want to go be his partner because she made a promise to work at the inn. She wants to be at the inn, and she's engaged, practically.
So I guess we get to the 4th of July, and Fred Astaire does this routine where he's throwing, poppers or something. I'm not sure how do it.
Yeah, it's 4th of July, he's got the poppers, and Bing Crosby's done this thing where he sent Linda off because these Hollywood men are coming that night, and he doesn't want them to steal her away. So he has our hapless cab driver.
A delivery man.
I want you to go down to the station, pick up a party, and start for Holiday Inn, but never get here. Could you handle that?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Hello? Long distance. Well, that's what I want you to do with Linda Mason.
Miss Mason? Our friend?
You're not supposed to understand it, Gus. For that kind of money, you ought to be able to go by way of Medicine Hat.
It's actually pretty funny, but he decides he's supposed to distract her, take her off the path, so he drives into a pond.
And then she gets back to the road. Don't know where he goes. She gets back to the road, and this car pulls up, and it's Lila. And Lila says, oh, I'm going to dance with Ted tonight. And so she says,
listen, you're late for the show already. If you'd care to let me drive, I know a shortcut that'll get us there 15 minutes sooner.
She drives into the lake.
That's actually
I love that part.
That's actually great comedic timing.
And then she just jumped out of the car and was like, see ya. Yeah. Because she realized in that moment that not only had Bing Crosby, because he heard the plan that Ted and the agent had for this.
They're gonna
not
steal
only
her.
did he try to sabotage her so that she couldn't get there to dance, not ever thinking about the fact that he could be ruining her entire career and hurting her desperately, he could be breaking her heart. He also called Lila and said, Lila, you better get over here because Ted wants you to dance with him in front of these movie producers and you're going to go to Hollywood. So she gets there and she's all dirty, but yes, this dance happens with the poppers.
Yeah. But after that, she leaves Jim and runs off with, Jim's writing the music, but she runs off with Ted.
Well, she does, but he also is he's very angry because what ends up happening is they do want the couple, but they also want the whole story. They want to make a movie about the inn. And so he agrees, okay, I'll write the music, but I'm not coming to Hollywood. I'm going to sit right here and do it. So he stays home. He writes the music. They go to Hollywood and start filming the movie.
This is when Mamie says you need to stop being a cuck.
Because this is the Thanksgiving. And he says, Mamie, I'm pouting. I'm pouting, Mamie.
I'm too rich, Mamie.
Well, he's not so rich.
He's got a fucking maid that's cooking for him.
I know, that's the part
holidays.
That's weird because he said he couldn't pay Linda because the inn wasn't making enough money. This is why I think they lived there for room and board. Well, I think they made a deal. I think they made a deal.
So he goes to Hollywood and poor Linda, Marjorie Reynolds, is really depressed. Linda looks really sad and they've got a bit where she's got to sing White Christmas. And then Bing appears on the set and starts singing. And then that reunites them. And they fall in love again. And they go back, celebrate Christmas. And then it's New Year's again. It's been a full year since they opened the Holiday Inn. And we get a finale with Fred Astaire, Bing Crosby, Marjorie Reynolds, and Virginia Dale all dancing together dancing us off to say goodbye.
In that moment, it does feel very much like White Christmas because you're on that same set. You've got these two couples. It's hard to not compare, even though the story is completely different. Bing Crosby and the Inn are the only two things in common.
Yeah, this White Christmas's story is a little better, and I really
It is a lot better.
And I really like the Danny Kaye, Vera Allen dance sequence, but I do really...
Danny Kaye or Fred Astaire?
Fred Astaire.
Danny Kaye. Danny Kaye all day.
Fred Astaire is, what's shooting this movie at least somewhere in the 3s for me. I do think watching him was very delightful and the most fun.
It was delightful.
More fun than the music itself, because the music itself is a little bland other than the actual hit White Christmas. This is 1942. The U.S. had been involved in World War II around a year at this point. And so you do have, there's at one point during the 4th of July thing where it is like a propaganda film. So it's very much keyed into the wartime era of the United States. But yeah, that's Holiday Inn from 1942, directed by Mark Sandrich. We're going to give it 1 through 5 each combined for best out of 10.
I think I'm at a 3.
I'm going to say a 4.
Okay.
I think there is a lot there, even though the music's not great, but you still know what's coming. It's music of its time. Irving Berlin, right? It's not like if I'm going to watch like a rat documentary, I can't be like, this music sucks. It's ruining the documentary, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it a 4. You're a 3. Combined, that is a 7.
But it's a 6.
Deduct a point for blackface, and it is a 6. A full point deduction. That's just the way it crumbles unless you want to raise your score from a 3.
I'll say 3.25.
So it is a 6.25 for Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn is in between the movies Friday the 13th, the 2009 remake, which was surprisingly better than we thought it was going to be. And It Lives Again, the Larry Cohen sequel to It's Alive. It's at least as good as those movies, if not better. And truly, it's only the law of blackface that reduces it. This is, in 1942, we would have said a 7.25. But the rules are the rules. Blackface will knock you a full, unironic blackface that isn't trying to make some greater message is gonna knock a point right off. So that's just how it is. So check the show notes for links to other places to find us, like and subscribe. Our next movie up, we got a 4-episode drop this week, including speaking of Friday the 13th, I mentioned the remake, which was pretty good. Well, you'll hear us review that movie on Friday the 13th this week as we do the last 6 of the Friday the 13th the franchise. So I kind of spoiled something there, but there's plenty more to discuss. And the 6-pack episodes that are coming on Friday, it is where you find some of our most F-tier movies ever. On Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we're talking about a modern Christmas classic, Joe Dante's Gremlins from 1984. So come right back on Wednesday, and we will see you again soon.
Happy holidays.
I'm singing a song of freedom for all people who cry out to be free.
Free to sail the 7 seas, free to worship as we please. If the birds up in the trees can be free, why can't we? I'm singing a song of